You ever notice how the moment you stopped reacting, they started reacting harder? You ever notice how the second you stopped explaining yourself, they suddenly couldn't get you out of their head? That wasn't an accident. That was emotional distance beginning to activate its power. Most men think being emotionally distant makes them cold, unloving, or damaged. But you are starting to realize that emotional distance isn't numbness. It's discipline. It is you protecting the most valuable asset you have, your internal state. Emotional distance is the moment you stop letting someone else's emotional urgency decide your tempo. It's the moment you stop matching energy and you start leading it. Freud understood this. The subconscious becomes addicted to whatever disrupts certainty. When you don't feed someone instant emotional clarity, their subconscious becomes unsettled. And a human being will spend more mental resources trying to resolve uncertainty than they ever will trying to stay comfortable. You're watching this play out in front of you right now. They don't know what you feel. And because they don't know, they are investing more emotion trying to find out. You can actually feel the leverage shift in the air. Before, you were the one trying to be understood. You were the one trying to be chosen. Now they are the one trying to decode you. The less emotionally reactive you become, the more powerful your presence becomes in their mind. The less you reveal, the more their imagination begins filling in blanks, layering projections, and creating meaning that you never even said. This is psychological leverage. You're not using aggression or manipulation. You're not threatening or demanding. You're simply refusing to be emotionally moved before you choose to be. And that alone is enough to make people uncomfortable, confused, hooked, curious. The man who wants less automatically controls the dynamic. Desire is always a hierarchy. Whoever is more attached is already in the weaker psychological position, and emotional distance instantly moves you to the top of that hierarchy without you having to lift a finger. This is where the silent mythology begins building around you. Because mystery is more magnetic than explanation. People fear what they cannot predict. People obsess over what they cannot fully read. When you become emotionally still, you become unpredictable. Your silence becomes a weapon heavier than anger, and your restraint becomes more threatening than argument. You don't have to raise your voice. You don't have to beg for understanding. You don't have to reveal your strategy. You simply stay centered, and they crumble under their own projections. Their own assumptions become their downfall. Their own imagination becomes the leash they put around their own psyche. That is the darker truth Freud understood. The human mind works harder to unlock the unavailable than to maintain what is given freely. You are not controlling them directly. You are controlling the narrative they build about you on the inside. That is where the real war is fought. And they don't even realize they are losing to their own mental simulation of you. Emotional distance lets you see everything clearly because you are not intoxicated by emotional noise. You can read micro-reactions. You can see insecurity in pauses. You can hear fear hidden behind aggression. You can see desperation hidden behind politeness. They reveal everything, while you reveal nothing. The man who protects his emotional stillness always leaves the other person emotionally exposed and unguarded. This is why emotional distance is not weakness. It is psychological filtration. It shows you who can handle your presence and who needs to control it in order to feel secure. So understand this deeply. The moment you stopped chasing reassurance, they started chasing certainty from you. The moment you stopped explaining every thought, they started trying to analyze every word you didn't say. The moment you refused to react emotionally, they began reacting emotionally for the both of you. Emotional distance is not withdrawal. It is strategic restraint. It is psychological oxygen control. It is you deciding which fire burns and which one suffocates. And when you learn to master this level of internal sovereignty, you don't need to demand power. Power starts orbiting around you automatically. You're not lazy, you're hijacked. Every scroll designed to keep you docile, addicted, and distracted. Dopamine warfare, reclaiming the mind. This isn't just about quitting porn or deleting apps. This is about taking back command of your nervous system, your focus, your fire. Here's the part most men never realize until life smacks them. When you stop being emotionally predictable, you force the world to reveal itself. The moment they can't forecast what you're going to say, or when you're going to respond, or how you're going to react, their subconscious begins running simulations that make them emotionally exhausted while you remain composed. This is leverage without confrontation. Freud saw this clearly. The human mind fears uncertainty more than pain. Pain is at least defined. But emotional ambiguity, that's psychological hunger. That's internal starvation. That's when the mind spirals into obsession. And you have now created that in others, without even trying to. They become addicted to anticipating you. You are not reacting to them anymore. They are reacting to the vacuum you create inside them. You're seeing how this plays out socially. When you don't jump to respond, the other person begins questioning, not you, themselves. When you hold back your immediate emotional tells, they begin doubting their value, their appeal, their importance. Emotional distance shifts the mirror. Instead of you wondering what they think about you, they are now wondering what you think about them. This is how leverage is built without hostility. You're not trying to win them. You are forcing their ego to try to win you. And this is why emotional distance is so dangerous. Because every second they spend trying to decode you is another second you are gaining ground without any expenditure of emotional energy. In arguments, your emotional discipline disarms chaos. When you remain calm, the other person begins raising their voice, escalating, over-defending, oversharing, revealing too much. You collect information while they bleed theirs out. You stay strategic while they become sloppy. You reveal nothing while they reveal their entire psychological architecture. In relationships, your stillness becomes luxury. Emotional availability becomes currency. Your attention becomes scarce resource. And whatever is scarce becomes valuable. This is the economy of emotional power. You never trade emotional resources at market price. You let others bid for it. In business, emotional restraint is even more lethal. When you don't jump at every opportunity, when you don't chase every client, when you don't pressure every deal, you instantly signal that you have abundance. High value is not shown through talk. It is shown through non-urgency. Every powerful man in history operated through emotional timing, not emotional reaction. You move when you decide the play is worth it, not when pressure tries to force your hand. Because a man who reacts quickly with emotion is always easy to manipulate. But a man who responds slowly with intention is almost impossible to trap. This is why emotional distance is not running away. It is not hiding from intimacy. It is not fear. It is psychological filtration, self-respect, and energetic sovereignty. You choose where your emotions land, not the world. You distribute emotional availability with intelligence, not impulse. You respond with precision, not desperation. And once you adopt this as your baseline operating identity, everything shifts. The world stops feeling like something you have to survive and starts becoming something you strategically engineer. This is the part men never get taught growing up. Emotional distance is not the absence of love. It is the presence of standards. It is how you protect your mind, your discipline, your mission, and your peace. Because when you stop handing your emotional access over freely, you stop being consumed by other people's chaos. You become the storm they have to adapt to, not the one trying to avoid theirs. The world bends toward the man who cannot be shaken. The world tries to decode the man who is not easy to read. Presence becomes stronger than personality. Stillness becomes sharper than aggression. And your power stops being something you have to prove. It becomes something people feel. Now you need the mental weapons to maintain this state permanently, because this isn't a one-moment trick. This is a lifestyle of psychological discipline. And the only men who maintain this level of internal sovereignty are the ones who constantly sharpen their subconscious conditioning, their masculine awareness, and their emotional command. This is exactly why I built Indecepta. Hours of dark psychology conditioning, hours of masculine emotional warfare doctrine, hours of lust control, frame control, leverage creation, and internal sovereignty. Thus remember, we are Indecepta. In the alchemy of lust, you'll be taken deep into the ancient and forgotten discipline of sexual transmutation, a principle once reserved for monks, warriors, kings, and creators. Welcome to the Indecepta archive, where the undeceived rise. No ads, no distractions, just pure, uninterrupted power. As a crusader of the archive, you gain infinite access to every video, every truth, every strategy, without censorship, delay, or interruption. New drops daily, delivered to you before the world sees them. Raw, unfiltered, elite. Indeceptions.com